So let's jump into the website and social media. So this is an important aspect of your branding, and this is now where your logo, your font, your colors, all of those things will take
Come
place.
together.
Yeah, this comes together for your website. Trying to create a website before you know your branding colors, fonts, or even have a logo will be very challenging. And what's going to happen, you're going to put a lot of work and effort and then have to go back and do some things over again. And so we will recommend that you do your website after you've already decided, what your colors, fonts, and your logo is going to be. And then now you use your website to be able to host all the content that is related to your business and to give people information about who you are, the services and the products that you offer. And it also gives voice to who you are so that now they can decide if they need to connect with your voice or if your voice is not suited for their needs.
Yeah, so it should be also very much reflective of your branding that you started in your social media and or conversations or marketing, networking, and all the things that you've done to start kind of like getting out there. And so your website should look like the story you're telling on other things, right? So if you're doing counseling, for me, I have 3 different websites. One is geared towards the counseling center and all of the services. You can link to all of the other ones from that one main website. However, I have my executive leadership and coaching website, which is my own name, where they can find me if you're just looking to do coaching separate from therapy and all that stuff. And then I have for my training business there, or training program, there is an actual website for the online trainings as well as the webinars. So although I have 3 websites, they still have identities that match up with my one theme. When you look at them, they don't look different. They have the similar colors. They look like they could be the same family, but they're all their own entity in a sense.
And now we're talking about social media. So social media is another extension of your brand. And so with your posts is that you can use the same colors and fonts. You want to make sure you are consistent in your message.
I'm going to share my screen too. I'll open up my Instagram while you're talking. Keep going.
Okay. And so with the social media, again, this is a place for you to, again, to give voice to who you are and what you're about so that now you can connect with your clients and they can be able to get to know more about you. While social media, there is an element of entertainment and there is space for you, to be a little humorous and, to joke. You want to make sure that it still connects back to who you are, you're authentic to your business, and also you're talking about what you have to offer.
So while Sharea is talking, I'm sorry to cut you off. While Sharea is talking, I'm actually going to share my screen so you can see my different Instagrams. Go ahead.
Okay. And so for social media, like you'll see different accounts, and it's really based upon personal preference, where they will be either all images or it'll be a combination of pictures and quotes. You can also see, where some individuals where they would use the same colors for every post. For me, I like a little bit more variety. So when I'm using quotes, then I will definitely use the same colors as my brand, which is blue, white, and silver. So if you see me doing a quote, unless I'm re-quoting or reposting someone else's quote, you're going to see my own personal creations in blue, white, or silver. But then if I'm posting about something else, whether it's a post for someone else's pages, then you will see that. Now, as Sharea is scrolling, you can see that all of her posts here on this particular page, it's in the same color family. So even though the structure of the posts are not all exactly the same, you can tell, again, they're in the same family. I like the way that Sharea said that. And so you see the same or similar color schemes throughout each post, and you see that text may be on a different aspect of the image. So some, they're center focused, some are focused to the left or have that left indent, it may be a right indent. But either ways, the fonts are still the same. And so you can tell, like, if you saw one of these posts on someone else's page, you will be able to know that this is related to the work that Sharea is doing.
Okay, and so this is one of my pages. Let's go to another one, because then I'm talking about what you just said in terms of having the difference, right? And so then this one becomes even more uniform with the colors. So this is my Freedom to Shine, which is from the YouTube channel. So specifically for that audience, which means that the colors are specific to that, and also that audience was specific to what we actually, when we talk about the target ideal client, it also matches how I got to these colors and all that stuff. And so if you notice, these colors are pretty much the same. The two posts are different. Like when I'm selling something versus actually giving you a quote, you can see the difference. And if you went down, when I first started, it wasn't the same colors, but if you go further down, they're not. And that's like 2017, so it's been a years. So what the point being that there's some variety. However, now I'm going to go to my personal page. Give me a second if I can remember what my personal page is. It's easier for me to go this way because I only follow 3 people. And so even on my personal page, although I am still me, right? So this is an example of being still me. You also see that I still talk about mental health. I still will talk about or support stuff from my own business page. And then any of the additional quotes and things like that I put up here, I will have it be relevant to my audience from those other pages. But then there's random shots of me, random other things, right? And so like when Sherry said she doesn't, for my personal page, there is no rhyme, no reason, but whenever I post about my business, you'll know that that color scheme comes up. And so people would know, oh, she's doing something for her business that day. So even though this is my quote unquote personal page, it still reflects my business. So you can follow this one, you can follow any of them, and you'll still get access to my authentic voice. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is important with branding. And I'm trying to go to the other one. What's the other one called? Oh, the center.
Sharea, I didn't even know that you had that one. That you had another. So she has several social media accounts. So here's one quick point that I will point out. For me, that would be a little overwhelming to try to manage all of those accounts, because as much as I appreciate social media for the ability to be able to connect with my clients and potential customers, just that I'm not a huge social media person on a personal level. So that's why I just have my business account. And so with my personal accounts, I'm actually not that active anymore because I know I have limited energy for social media. So I just decide to keep it focused on my business accounts. But here's the thing. With me deciding now to just be active on my business accounts, that means I sacrifice posting personal things that are not related to my business or that's not really applicable in any type of way. So you definitely you want to be careful when it comes to what you're posting on your business accounts. Not saying that you can't post anything personal, but you just have to be more strategic with that.
Yeah. So the center one is brand new. So I'm just started this one. And one of the reasons, and here's why for me, I feel the opposite, which is that it's really important to, if you are a business, even if you aren't the person who's social media savvy, you need to have a social media person to help you with it. If you regardless of the type of business today, because we are really a virtual / social world. And most people are now communicating through social media in terms of one form of the social medias. Like, so if it's not Instagram, it's not Facebook. If it's not Facebook, it's LinkedIn. Finding one that you can master for yourself, that you can be consistent on. And so although it seems like a lot of work, and we'll talk about this probably in a whole entirely different video, it's actually not a lot of work at all, because it really comes down to, I'm not on here, I'm scheduling these. These are done well in advance. I have like literally a month's worth already done. I may not be on here again until next week live, right? In the sense that, me personally. And so being able to make sure that you manage it according to who you are is important, but it has to be available for your audience, because no matter what your audience is now, unless they absolutely are seniors, like, unless they are seniors, you are in a world where people are business-wise expecting to see you and engage with you. And so having it is important, and finding your way to navigate it is important. For me, I've been able to create the accounts and I use a thing called Buffer, and I'm not going to get too much into it because we'll save that maybe for just one full, like, how do you get all this done? But one of the things that I do is make sure that they're planned for the month. I create the images, and once most of the images are really literally about changing the word, and everything else stays the same, right? So making able to make it as easy for yourself as possible, but that it's available for your audience to feel engaged in. Because one of the things that I learned for just personally when it comes to branding is that if you don't have consistency and engagement, then you're less likely to have purchases, right? So consistency, engagement equals it equals a purchase, right? And so if I can't see you, and even if it's like something that you're not into, getting someone else to do it. There are so many cool, like I know, and we're not going to get too much into the apps, but like Fiverr, you can find people on there who literally will do your social media. And there's another place called Upwork that I've used in the past to get people to do assignments for me where they will literally just create the images for you. And then you can just go back and edit them and do whatever you need to do. So there's ways to find people, and it's affordable, like, and affordable according to where you are in your business, because depending on where you are is it's going to also be affordable, right? But
right.
There is some statements about there is some truth in, if you don't invest, you don't get an outcome. You got to have some level of investment, and those investments can be small, because even with the Freedom to Shine one, having someone create the post for me has been really helpful. But then at some point, I still have to write up all the information and they just create the post. Whatever it is that you do, you need to be able to find a way to be consistent. I think for my personal opinion, you need to be at least consistently weekly on something. If that means a video, if that means a post, if that means an engagement, you need to be consistent at least weekly so that people can feel trusting that they'll see you at this time and on that day talking about this subject. And then that become part of your brand. So
yeah. So for social media, as you can see, social media is really important.
and it's
It
long.
does require that work and that consistency. And so, like I said, you just have to be honest with yourself about what you're going to. So for me, I had to be honest that, hey, all my social media efforts have to go into my business, because
Exactly.
if I spend too much time on personal, yeah, if I spend too much time on my personal, I'm not going to do the business, because again, just that's not just an again, social media is not an area that I like to spend a lot of time on. And that's just personally, but I know I want to thrive in a business. So my personal pages, you'll see me pop up every once in a while. Like I have one account, I haven't posted on it in months on my personal account. On my business account, so you're going to see me a whole lot more frequently, because like what Sharea said, that point out, if you're not there, you're not going to see those sales. And so you have to make sure that you are there. So that's where I'm focusing my energy on, is that, okay, I have to be present on my business pages because of that fact.
And learn your hashtags. I mean, I know we're not talking social media too much, but learn the hashtags and learn the population you're trying to get to hashtags. Like, so if you know that you're servicing Black Christian women, and you want to find out what the hashtags that group is using, right? So is it on Sundays they're using Gospel 5 or something, like whatever the case is, learn those hashtags so that you can pop up in your target and ideal clients stream just because they're following it, right? So one of my hashtags that does really well is Black Girl Joy, right? Because when you think about Black girls joy, it makes sense that some of the wellness and all the things would pop up. Another one that does really well is oh my goodness, healing journey, right? So knowing what you're helping to find out your hashtags will help you to even be strategically showing up in those people who are not following you, right? So even if because that's how you get your next followers. Like, so I haven't even advertised about 2 of my pages, and I'm getting followers without even talking about it. And because my goal for this year wasn't even to talk about them yet. I didn't even plan on, I actually was trying to hold out until all the quarantine stuff was done, but people started liking it. So then I was like, I guess I got to start putting stuff.
Listen, they're home a lot more.
Yeah, I was like, I just created them, but now if it's going to be there, I'm going to start putting stuff up so that they can see. So, and then a lot of it, you also share other people things that reflect similar beliefs and align with your social media branding, right? And so I'm going to stop because we can go on and on and on.
Yeah, there's so much intel with social media, but don't be overwhelmed by the work that we're talking about. Even though it seems like there's a lot to keep in mind. Once you get the hang of it, like it becomes second nature, where it's like you don't even think about it, and it's not hard to get the hang of it. So we're just making sure that you all have a very thorough view so that you can be successful, because we want you all to thrive and to be awesome in every aspect of your business.
Yeah, so while we're at it, we might as well shout out our social media. So you can go ahead and follow me at because we haven't done that. Like we don't ever I
Right.
never
I just
do it.
thought about that.
Right.
Yes.
You can follow me at several places you just saw. Freedom to Shine 28. I'm just gonna give you my Instagrams. Freedom to Shine 28, Radiant Sunshine 728. And I don't know that. Oh, self-care underscore Black girls is the one that's for self-care for Black girl group.
And then my Instagram account is just my name. So it's Sherry_Wherry. So SHERRY_WHERRY.
Okay. All right, you guys, we hope that you got something from that. If nothing else, we have a number of points around branding, websites, every little thing that you can think of. When it comes to branding, we are going to continue to kind of have this conversation. Hopefully next week we can give some examples of how we created some stuff on social media, or we can talk about other little details about social media. Also, Sherry has this awesome course that she is promoting or has not promoted this entire time that is literally about how she started her business for sheep. So some of these areas that we're talking about, she'll show you and walk you through how she started with, I don't even want to say less than $100.
It was, listen, I saved so much money doing
Yeah,
that.
and how even though it may sound like, well, I want to go straight to the top from the beginning, none of us started at this top place. You actually start where you are. And what Sherry shows in this is actually walking you through areas that are important, but also how she did it in an affordable way. And literally how she started her book and put out her book for such a cheap price. And so I think it's important for us to, if do you have the name of the course? I'm sorry.
Yes, it's Launch on a Budget. And so I'll make sure that you all can get the registration link. It's through Think of It. So it's thinkofit.com/launch on a budget. And so you can be able to go to that website to be able to register for the course.
All right. You guys be well.
All right, take care. Bye.
All right. That became like